What is up, ladies and gents? Today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at the Diamond Heist DLC, which is currently on sale on Steam for £4.49 or your regional equivalent. In this video I'm hoping to discover whether or not it is a worthwhile purchase, depending on the quality of its content. This heist was presented to us in the usual format, except this time we had a massively exciting trailer to dissect. It comes with 4 masks as usual, and of course 4 masks means 4 new patterns and 4 new materials, and it comes with 7 additional achievements, plus of course the heist itself and all the new goodies that comes with that, including the potential rewards and, in this case, pre-planning. One thing you may notice when comparing it to the Big Bank DLC is it does not come with an additional weapon. This weapon can instead be found in the Clover character pack. That's going to count against this DLC as the overall bundle is the same price, but without the additional content. We're going to kick things off by taking a look at the new masks added. If you guys are just interested in the overall heist review, please click the annotation on the video right now and I'll skip you right to it. For those of you who have chosen to stay, we have 4 new masks added: Medusa, Anubis, the Cursed One, and Pazuzu, and they are 4 of the nicest looking masks in the entire game. The Cursed One is like something straight out of Dark Souls, Medusa and Anubis are of course your mythological favourites, and they look just as good as you would hope they would. Medusa is very bulky, she's got lots of snakes on her head. It is just much more advanced than a lot of the original masks. Also, they customize fantastically. In the past, we've had things like the presidential and the animal-based masks, which were good in their own right. They look very nice on their own, but customizing them was definitely difficult, especially with the humanoids, and the presidents were just slightly lazy in my opinion. These masks are the complete opposite. There's so much detail, and they all customize in unique different ways. The patterns and materials are also very nice. The materials are a little on the beige side for my liking, but of course, that's kind of the territory of making an Egyptian or a mythological themed DLC. But the patterns are absolutely excellent, a lot of detail, and they can be added very nicely to the mask they get bundled with. Overall, I definitely think this DLC has outdone all the others in terms of aesthetic customization, and if you're a mask nut like I am, it feels like you're going to have to pick up this DLC just to have a look at these fantastic masks. In order to get the masks, you're of course going to have to complete achievements, and the Payday community are a huge fan of their challenges, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this one. Previous DLCs have been filled, especially the gauge packs. I know that's in the territory of making a weapon-based DLC. They can be a bit tedious to complete the challenges that allow you to unlock the masks, for example. In this DLC though, all the masks are unlocked quite naturally. You just have to take a quick look at the challenges set to you, and they're all quite doable, but they are comfortably challenging to where you'll feel satisfied when you've completed them. You've got Cat Burglar, which is just for completing the mask in full stealth, Diamond Vultures for securing 10 bags, which can be a challenge, especially if you're loud. Smoke and Mirrors is for rushing this down in under 10 minutes. That was probably my favourite of the achievements. It took a little while for me to perfect, but once you had the strategy down, you could stealth it. I think my record was about 8 minutes 43. Don't know if any of you have absolutely smashed that one out the water. Do let me know if you've got some massive speedruns on the Diamond Heist. And of course, Diamonds in the Rough. That's to complete the heist and the puzzle, and stealing the diamond after the alarm has gone off. That was a pretty intense one. You had to be on at least overkill difficulty. And of course, the main difficulty there is solving the puzzle, remembering it while under the pressure of being shot at. Then we have one of the most unique achievements that has ever been added to the game, which is a comfortable challenge. It's certainly difficult, and again, it's very unique, but it's still doable, and of course comes with rewards. I love being rewarded for completing these achievements. The Tabula Rasa, all you have to do is complete the mission, I say all, on overkill difficulty, while you are using absolutely no skills, wearing the most basic of armor, the suits, and of course using the Golden AK and the Chicago typewriters. So a real classic heist. The only achievement that I have a slight problem with, and I've always had a bit of an issue with these, is the complete the heist with each crew member wearing one of the different masks. The problem with that, if you're a solo player, it's going to be very difficult for you to complete. It involves a lot of planning. If someone lags out, it can cause issues with the achievement. Fortunately enough, Overkill has been sensible enough to not put a a reward for completing this achievement, but I do still find these to be a little bit of a nuisance. Overall though, the achievements are fantastic, well balanced, not too difficult, but certainly a satisfying challenge to complete. Okay, so now we just have the heist to take a look at. We're going to do this as in-depth as possible, so I'm going to start us off with pre-planning, which has some interesting little features this time around. You do have to make sacrifices, and one of my only issues with it is there aren't enough options for if you're doing it aloud. Pre-planning gives you the potential to drop down lots of medic bags and ammo bags, which seems like the easy way out. I'd much rather have things that change the mission around. However, in stealth, you can get things like the glass cutter to break through and steal things even before you've turned the power off. You can get the thermite to get the easiest entrance into the building. I do have a slight problem with that in that if you don't get the thermite, you have to go through the front door. There aren't enough options of entry, and occasionally there can be guards stood on the front door that you will have to kill. They won't patrol. Other assets include things like the spy cam, which is as ever very useful, and I feel like the pre-planning has been well done in this one, but I'd love to see more and more in the future that makes the heist more dynamic depending on the way you choose to run it. The heist itself can be split into two separate categories, silent and loud, and within that there are also subcategories, for example solo stealth. So I'm going to try and take a look at it from every angle and every single playstyle possible, starting off with stealth, primarily solo stealth. So, as you've seen in my recent videos, I really enjoy this mission as a solo stealth heist. I find it quite comfortable to complete, but I have to admit, from my very first attempt at it, it was very, very daunting. You have to have a good understanding of what you're doing from the get-go. You're presented with 4 circuit boxes that you need to hack. You don't know where they are, there are no map indicators, which I really like to see. I like it to be more vanilla and based around your own intellect and ability to understand what's going on. Of course, that kind of flies out the window after you've played it a few times, but it definitely made my first attempt very organic. So, you just have to walk around and find these circuit boxes, which always do spawn in certain positions, but you don't know which position they will take, and it's quite dynamic and probably my favourite part of the heist as a stealth mission. There is, however, quite a simplified route you can take that you've seen in my videos that does make it a little less dynamic in that you're more than likely going to bump into 4 circuit boxes as long as you follow that route along. Then we have the guards. The thing about the guards on this mission is there are tons of them, an absolute load of them. The only guard that I have a real problem with is of course the one I've already mentioned, the one that will stand forever at the front door. All the rest of the guards appear to be patrollers. Now, the main problem with the difficulty on this mission though is the patrols are very spread. So as many patrols as there may be, the heist is so big and expansive that they never seem to cross paths, which means you can work around what is a nice design feature, putting lots and lots of debris and things around in the museum for cover, both as a loud and the silent heist, but it allows you to walk your way around the guards pretty freely. You never tend to have to take them out. Another feature of it is how easily the security cameras are got at. That's often the case with many missions in Payday, but you're going to find the security cameras almost as a matter of fact, given that you're searching through those doors to find the high voltage signs that will show you whether you've got a circuit box in there. That is a slight problem, as the cameras are one of the main sources of difficulty once you break into the secondary room, which I'll get onto later. But overall, there's a lot to do. It feels as soon as you're dropped into the heist, and again, lots of choices you make, not made by Bane, as to how you're going to approach it. Once you've shut down the motion sensors and turned the power off, you're going to be able to move into 2 twin rooms that are adjacent to the next entranceway. This is going to enter into the preliminary room before the diamond. In order to open this door, however, you need to wait 1 minute 30 seconds and drop a keycard into the time lock. To obtain this keycard, you've got to take down a civilian. The civilians come in the way of cleaning staff and museum curators. You'll be advised by Bane of all of this. So to take them down, the easiest way to do it, unfortunately, is to shoot and body bag them, especially seeing as how you can have 2 body bag assets around the map. That is a shame to me. I always like it when the mission punishes you more for killing civilians and makes it more dangerous, and goes against that style of gameplay. Unfortunately, you can easily take them down, steal a keycard, and bag them and hide them in one of the rooms that guards will never check, which also seems like a shame. There's no real panic about hiding body bags. You can always put them in the dead-end rooms containing the circuit boxes. However, once you've got the keycard and have waited 1 minute 30 seconds, you'll be entered into one of the nicest, most atmospheric looking rooms Payday has ever seen. This room will be occupied by 2 to 3 guards consistently patrolling, and is one of the hardest sections of the mission as a whole. You're going to want to move around them, consistently spotting them out to another time lock. To open this time lock, you're going to need another keycard, which you probably will have found in the 1 minute 30 second wait for the first one. However, this is the most nerve-wracking part of the mission. You're going to wait it out using a lot of the cover in the room for a whole 1 minute 30 seconds again before the door opens. Once the first door opens, you've got to lockpick a door with standard time 20 seconds while those guards are still patrolling the room. This is one of the most frustrating parts of the whole mission, which feels like kind of false difficulty because you can't hide yourself properly while doing this. And I will advise, if you still have pager answers, potentially take these guards out. They will not be replaced as far as I'm aware. Once you've broken through to the 20-second door and you're into the actual diamond containment room, you have a nasty little puzzle to await you. You are now faced with another beautiful room adorned by samurai suits on either side. So impressed by the art direction for this heist. They really nailed that night at the museum feel. You're then going to open up a control panel to the left of you, which will show you a series of lights which corresponds to the grid in front of you, and will display the path you have to take to get to the diamond. This is very Indiana Jones feeling, and has to be one of the most interesting and innovative passages in the entire game. However, if you don't like the sequence you've been given, you can wait out the timer and do it again. Sometimes the puzzles really are difficult. It seems to be randomly generated, and you can end up zigzagging backwards and forwards for almost the whole 30-second timer, which I believe in a recent update may have been extended, but don't quote me on that. So once you've got across to the diamond, it's a simple case of walking back across that path. If you made a mistake, you're in trouble. The alarm will first of all go off, the diamond will shrink underground and you'll have to drill through to it, and the whole room will be gassed, making it very difficult for you to even escape it initially. This is, of course, resolvable, but you've lost stealth, and I'm not going to go on about that right now. This is purely a stealth tour. Now, as a loud heist, this is one of my personal favorites. I even found myself soloing it loud just because I really enjoy the gunfighting along those long corridors and the consistent choke points. What they did a great job of is making guards come from every angle. No matter what wall your back is up against, they're going to come through the damn roof. I love to see that, and it really is a challenge. I have to admit that I have enjoyed this heist more doing it loud than silent, despite having quite a lot of success silently, just because the map design is so perfect in my eyes that it's a waste to not make it into a gunfight. Your potential for reward is actually improved, if you ask me, especially reward in a reasonable time if you go loud. Death Wish loud is incredibly challenging, though. If you want to get the Death Wish achievement, you're much better just doing it stealth. That feels like a bit of a shame to me, but I always do like to see difficult loud missions. You're going to be moving through in a squad, many different choke points as I've already mentioned, but also having to keep an eye on your back. It feels like that traditional heisting setting, even better than what Big Bank had with the Beast defense, if you ask me anyway. And then, even beyond that, you have the very difficult challenge of working out the puzzle while trying to avoid getting shot. One thing that I have noticed people doing online is typing in up 2, across, or left 7. You know, those sort of directions allow you to keep track on it, and if you're a fast typer, it'll be the easiest way to get from one side to the other. Overall, the heist, I really struggle to place it. When I think of it as a pure stealth heist, it definitely has some problems and frustrations that would lean toward me giving it a 7. But the overall map design deserves much greater reward than that, to me. I would give the map design and the map feel and atmosphere probably a 9.5 or a 10. I don't think they've done a better job with atmosphere. Shadow Raid was laden, but the lighting and just the scope of this fantastic museum has really blown me away. Oh, and it even has a plaque with my name on it, so if you don't buy it, you're basically a traitor to the cause. No, but in all seriousness, Overkill put a lot of effort into crafting this one, and I think that's what I most want you guys to appreciate from this review. As a solo mission, it's got to be one of my favorites. Even Loud, just playing with Hoxton and Dallas, it's so organically fun that I do recommend it. If you've got bored of playing with friends, just try it out on your own. It's a very comfortable and enjoyable experience. Solo stealth is also more rewarding, I've felt, than stealthing in a group. So as a solo mission, it's definitely better than as a group mission, which puts you in a difficult circumstance. Because in order to enjoy this mission on your own, you actually have to buy it, which is kind of a caveat, because with a lot of the DLC missions, all the DLC missions, you can play them without buying them, which is great. Overkill has never locked people out. But you have to play it with either a friend who's bought it or search for the mission online, which can sometimes not be the most pleasant of experiences. It's for that reason that if you're interested at all in sampling and enjoying the atmosphere in this heist and anything else that you think Overkill may have coming, because this definitely feels like a stepping stone to even better heists, then I do recommend you purchase it. I would give the heist itself an 8 out of 10, but the mass are so top dollar, the achievements so satisfying and all-encompassing, that I've got to give this overall DLC an 8.5 out of 10. A recommend, not the best DLC we have ever seen. I still feel like Big Bang has the edge on that one, but it's just a fantastically enjoyable mission. And if you enjoy Payday, especially while it's on this 10% sale, do keep in mind it will go cheaper in the future. But if you want to play it now, when the vast majority of us are, do check it out on Steam.